In this video, we're just going to point out briefly about what we do with object pronouns, whether it's reflexive, indirect, or direct. Whenever you have an affirmative command, you do not have an option. Your object pronouns have to be attached to the command. Now, in other circumstances, we've learned where you can add an object pronoun to an infinitive, a present participle, or you can put it before the conjugated verb. And in this case, we have a conjugated verb, which is our to command, borra, but we are not allowed to do anything else other than attach the object pronoun to it whenever it's an affirmative command. And this is the case for all affirmative commands, no matter what, whether it's a to command, an usted command, ustedes, nosotros, vosotros, we will always attach object pronouns to the affirmative command. Now, when it is a negative command, they will always go before the conjugated verb. So it's very different. You can see, just look at the phrases here. In English, we would say, erase those, don't erase those. Not very different. We just put don't in front of it. In Spanish, bórralos, and the negative form of that is no los borres. And there is not an option. That is the way it has to be, in that order, just like that with those spellings. So we've got a different spelling of our verb, and we've got a different placement of our object pronoun. So kind of crazy. We're going to write them an email. Escríbeles, the les is the indirect object that's attached to escribe. And then not to do this, the negative form of it, don't write them an email. No les, the les has to go before the conjugated verb. Escribas un correo electrónico. So quite different with, versus English. But the important thing to get out of here right now is just know this rule: is the affirmative commands have to have object pronouns attached to them. Well, if you have an object pronoun, they must be attached to them. If you do have a negative command and you have an object pronoun, then the object pronoun has to go before the conjugated verb. Now, the accent mark, you have to go back to your accent mark rules, and I've got a video on that as well. But the accent mark rules is going to be really important to know when you are going to have to need one. Now, basically, I will show you a slide here real quick. When you have a two-syllable word, or at least a two-syllable word, you are going to add an accent mark whenever you add an object pronoun. You will do that. So let me make some markings here. So, I think I actually turned it off. So here we've got borra. Now the rule is whenever it ends in a vowel N or S, so when you have a conjugated verb, it's going to end in one of those letters, a vowel N or S. It's going to be that second to last syllable. Bor is where we're going to have our stressed syllable right there. So the second to last syllable should carry the stressed syllable. So, we're not going to we don't need an accent mark here because that's the natural rule, but that's where it is stressed. Now, when I go over here, that's still the same syllable that's going to have the stressed syllable, but now instead of it being the second to last syllable, it is the third to last syllable. And since it breaks the natural rule of it being the second to last syllable, what I'm forced to do here is add an accent mark. So again, this accent mark was here me just showing you this is stressed. It's not written there. Obviously, as you can see, it's not on there. But it's the second to last syllable should be stressed. And since it is, here, it is the second to last syllable that's stressed, we're good. Nothing needs to be done. But here, the second to last syllable should be stressed. But since it's not this second to last syllable here, it's the third from last syllable that's actually supposed to be stressed here. We have to mark that with an accent mark. We have to say, hey, you're actually going to pronounce this different than you expect because the stressed syllable is not the second to last syllable with a word that ends in a vowel N or S, which again is going to be the case for all of these. So they should always be the second to last syllable. Here, prende, here's the stressed syllable, and that prende. This is the second to last syllable. It ends in a vowel, so good. No need for an accent mark here because it follows the rules. When we add an additional syllable here with that la, we attach to this affirmative command, Now this is the third from the last syllable here. That same syllable is going to keep the same stress, but because it's the third from the last syllable, we need an accent mark. Imprime, now we've got a 3-syllable word, and imprime is the stress syllable, which is the second to last syllable of a word that ends in a vowel. When we add lo to it, we still have a word that ends in a vowel. But now, count it back. Here's our last syllable. Here's our second to last syllable. And here's our third from the last syllable right there. So that's why there's an accent mark on that. Imprímelo. We don't want to see imprimelo, which would be the natural rule if we didn't have an accent mark there, because this is what should be stressed. But since it's not, we need to stress this syllable instead.